So just recently, I was presenting some really fun and thoughtful ideas for a kid's bedroom in the form of a mood board to a client who's based in Pune. And I thought, why not share it here too? That way, you'll get a glimpse into the kind of process we follow to create personal, layered, long-lasting spaces. And in this case, a space that's meant to grow with the child. My name is KJ and I'm an interior designer based out of Mumbai. And today I'll be walking you through the actual mood board presentation. So you'll get to see what really happens in our mood boarding phase and how we gather scattered inspiration and weave it into one cohesive story. Let's get into it. So we usually begin by asking our clients to share reference images of spaces or styles that they're naturally drawn to. And in this case, for their son's bedroom, the clients sent us images that had all this calm, minimal, warm vibe. He mentioned that he particularly loved the idea of a low platform bed tucked into a corner, a space that feels very grounded and a little zen. And that gave us our first design cue. Now, a lot of people assume that interior design starts by jumping directly into color palettes or picking out furniture pieces. But the truth is, when someone onboards us, we follow a very intentional process. It typically begins with collecting references, followed by a Q&A to understand their needs, routines, lifestyles, and aspirations. Then we move into a furniture layout based on those inputs. Then comes the mood board, and only after that do we move into the 3Ds, technical drawings, budgeting, and finally execution. Today we are diving into that mood board phase. And for anyone wondering, what even is a mood board? To me, a mood board is like a collage which has cutouts of furniture, materials, textures, and decor, all placed together as a concept on one page to capture the feeling of a space before anything is actually built. It showcases a design concept or an underlying theme, maybe a specific style or a mix of styles, but more than that, it's actually a visual storytelling tool. I even like calling it a process of self-discovery because it really encourages the clients to look inwards, to really see what they're saving on Pinterest or what catches their eye in magazines or other homes, and then ask themselves, what about this speaks to me? So you filter, you reflect, because when they give us that kind of clarity and not just a bunch of random screenshots, we start noticing patterns in what they're drawn to, and we're able to turn that into a mood board that feels deeply personal. We start translating that inspiration into actual planning. So we begin with the layout. For this room, we proposed a full-length platform bed along the window wall, sized for a single mattress. And we visually extended it towards this wall and placed a low storage unit at the end of it. Simple, grounded, clean lines, but also practical, because the child is still very young and this low storage allows him to access toys and books on his own, building independence. And that's the thing, he's still just about a year old, not even fully a toddler yet. So he's not sleeping in his room independently at all, and may not for a while. But this is his future bedroom, which means that it has to work for the present, maybe as a guest bedroom or a yoga nook or a work from home spot for his parents, and slowly transition into a fully fledged child's room later. So when we're designing something like this, we are thinking multi-use, multi-phase. And you know how it is with kids. They may be young now, but they grow up like really fast, and which means that this room needs to stay relevant and easy to adapt as time passes. Parallel to the bed, we've placed a wardrobe with a niche in the center for a study table. Now, he won't be studying anytime soon, of course, but that niche could become a compact work from home spot, a guest desk, or even just a surface for play, art, or puzzles. Again, we're designing for flexibility here. Now let's talk style direction. From the reference images, there was a very clear pattern of a mix of wabi-sabi, Japanese, clean, contemporary wooden tones and hints of modern, mid-century modern furniture pieces. But what stood out was that the clients also expressed a desire to incorporate Indian elements to create like a sense of belonging, rootedness, and warmth, something nostalgic but still fresh and minimal. So those became our keywords: modern, Indian, minimal, and Zen. Usually in kids' bedroom, the default route is a cute wallpaper, colors, themes, animals, alphabets. Nothing wrong with that, but it can feel too age specific or trend driven. So I wanted to go deeper this time. Now, since the clients mentioned that they wanted Indian elements, that was my second cue. And so we leaned into India's rich indigenous art forms that are full of story and imagination. So think Gond, Warli, Madhubani paintings that depict village life, nature, animals, and folklore. And they do it in such vivid, whimsical, and intuitive ways. A Warli painting might tell a story of a village. A Gond tree of life could have tigers, birds, forests in unexpected playful colors and joyful patterns that just make you go, wow. What I love is they're not just decorative, they're very narrative. And I actually think that incorporating Indian art forms in the form of mural or a painting or a wallpaper or even a cushion cover is a great idea, because it not only looks unique, but it also supports the artisans and the talented craftspeople behind these amazing art forms. Plus, it's such a nice way to celebrate Indian heritage. And in a child's room, it's such a beautiful way to invite questions, spark curiosity, creativity, and imagination, and even a sense of identity. So I found some real life examples that could help the client visualize how this concept could work. Number one is a project by Case Designs. Now, this isn't a kid's bedroom, it's a living room, but one of the walls features a mural by a Gond artist with animals and a stunning tree of life adaptation. It's not a recent project, but I loved it when I first saw it, and I still do. The second example is of Sonam Kapoor's son's nursery. It has a monochromatic forest-themed wallpaper with warm wood and rattan elements with the classic crown molding. In my opinion, it feels timeless, like a room that could just as easily be for a child or an adult. Now, these references helped us communicate the vibe we had in mind, and from here we developed multiple directions. Now, our moodboard images are representational, where we use reference images and sort of create a collage of different elements for the space, which are basically specific portions that are cut, pasted, modified, and merged all together on one page to convey our ideas. Nothing is final at this stage. It's all illustrative to just give our clients a sense of how things feel when you put it all next to each other. For a simple start, this is the kind of moodboard we often default to. A platform bed in one corner, a low storage unit in another, maybe a pendant lamp or two, and that's about it. It's clean, minimal, and it absolutely works. But since this is a kid's bedroom, I do feel like there's an opportunity to bring in more personality, more story, and something fun. Something that brings in a sense of childlike nostalgia, yet still feels timeless. And that's exactly where the idea of incorporating Indian art forms came in. Not in a heavy-handed way, but woven in thoughtfully. And from there, we developed a few more nuanced options. Option number one, a mural behind the bed. So everything else stays minimal and the mural takes center stage. In this direction, we proposed subtle wall lights adjacent to the bed so as not to overpower the mural. That's why we avoided a pendant here. For the wardrobe wall, we kept it simple and classic with wood and rattan finishes, a clean study table and a chair in between. Maybe add a functional piece like a wipeable calendar, because let's be honest, syncing kid and adult schedules can be a task. Option number two, a standalone Gond artwork above the low storage console. If the client doesn't want to commit to a mural, this could be a less permanent way to bring character in. With the mural out of this wall, it makes sense to add a striking pendant lamp to balance that side. We also suggested placing a folklore-inspired Warli art or wallpaper within the niche between the wardrobes to give that niche a little punch. Option number 3, in this option, the wardrobe wall becomes the feature where you could use a stunning Indian tribal art inspired wallpaper on the shutters and also sandwich it between glass so it's easy to swap in the future. And you could go bold and colorful like this or keep it monochromatic like this. I also felt like we could panel the niche between the wardrobes with wood. This would reduce visual clutter, and I do like the idea of letting this calendar pop against the wooden backdrop. Speaking of the console, to give it a special touch, we thought of styling it using these IKEA lamps. And I honestly love them. They are affordable, fun, and while they work individually, placing them together as a pair makes them look even more whimsical. Like two little mushrooms quietly sitting on a console. Subtle, but with so much charm. Another fun way to elevate the space is by playing with patterned bedding. It adds that extra layer of personality. We showed all of these because there's no one right way to do this. Each option has its own energy and personality. So the clients asked me which one was my favorite, and honestly it was hard to choose, but I lead towards the eclectic mix. The one with the vibrant colors on the wardrobe, indigenous Indian artwork casually placed above the console, those Scandinavian mushroom lamps, mid-century furniture, earthy wooden and rattan textures on the wardrobe, zen-like bed, and the storytelling that ties it all together. To me, that felt like the perfect blend of functionality and emotional warmth. And I'm so glad that the clients totally connected with that. They saw the direction, they saw the story, and I'm honestly really excited to hear which direction they decide to go with. Mood boards are such an important part of the process. They're not just visual, they're emotional because they hold the why behind every material, color, and form. They become a compass, especially during execution and actual material selection when things can get overwhelming. We always come back to the mood board and those keywords because it helps us keep aligned and anchored. When you're designing your home, it's very easy to get distracted by something new that pops up, a reel, a trend, a Pinterest post, and suddenly something that you liked last week starts to feel off. But if you keep chasing every new thing, the process can start to feel never ending. And the worst part is that once it's all over, you might even feel this lingering guilt. Should I have picked that instead? Could I have done this better? And that's what leaves you feeling dissatisfied. But having a mood board with a clear, defined direction helps you filter through all that noise, and you start making decisions with a lot more clarity and not confusion. If you're starting your home, spend time here in this mood boarding phase. Give your designer thoughtful keywords. Don't follow trends blindly. And also ask yourself questions. What about this image feels like me? What part of this trend do I actually resonate with? Because when you do that, your space won't just look good, it'll actually feel like home and it'll feel more like you. If this video felt insightful, do give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And also do let me know in the comments which mood board direction would you pick. I'd love to know.